Welcome back. The Between Stars and Suns, episode 17. So, the hunters have resolved many threats so far, and now the only thing remaining between them and the Mastermind threat is resolving Whateley Camera. And reading off the resolution, or at least the answering the question. The question was, what circumstances will cause someone photographed by the camera to disappear? Which they've answered. And they have decided to use the camera to transport into the Fragrant Void and make contact with the entity there. This will give them access to the custom move Void Walker when they complete the resolution for this evening. All right. And they rolled an 11. So there is pretty good success, complete success for this. However, when you go into the Fragrant Void, there is no normalcy here. There will be things that will be different. So, to begin this session, we're going to have them narrate any outstanding masks, anything that they want to reveal before we go into the void. And then there's a little prologue scene that I want to enact before we start. And because this is not the usual between structure, I'm just going to remind everyone, safety tools are on the table, especially X card. So if something is unfun in an objectionable way, please feel free and say X card or write it in the chat or do the X in the video to let me know that we need to stop, take out what needs to be X carded, and then move on. Or rewind. So again, going over what was unfun, and then we will continue with something else. Okay, so those two safety tools especially are on the table for this evening. Okay, so anyone have any masks that they would need to narrate that may not have been done before? This is your opportunity to go over anything in your past that maybe we didn't go over before, or it's like we kind of skimmed over it because we ran out of time in another session. So anybody, anything?
Sir Atticus is good.
Mildred is good.
I have a mask of the past, I think.
Yes.
The prompt for that says narrate a flashback to the incident that caused you to receive the quickening curse. I thought I did it, but I think we missed it or something. Because I'm sure we did the one after that. But the way we see it is Smoke is kind of, sort of still out west, and they're hanging out at the old-fashioned equivalent of a party, really. And they have this person who comes up to them, and they seem sort of familiar, Smoke and this person, not like buddies or something, but just relatively, they're not strangers. And this person sort of nods their head to Smoke, and as we step outside, we notice that it's a somewhat unusually dark night, and they take Smoke to what is behind the sort of shed or warehouse-like situation where they were, tavern-like situation where they're having this sort of party. And they offer Smoke this cigar, and Smoke takes it, and they just lean against the wall. They talk for a little bit. A little while later, you see that person sort of inch away from Smoke, and they have a very strange smile on their face as you notice Smoke's skin hands and legs start elongating and their skin sort of start to rupture, and they scream a little, but the people are like so loud that no one really hears them, while this person just watches over them as they finish transforming into this creature that looks like a very strange, crawling, skittery creature with this large blade-like spikes coming out of their back. Their clothes are a little ruined, more than a little ruined. The acquaintance walks away from Smoke, but not before they leave a quill near Smoke, slightly different looking from Smoke's old, a little more like gold-like almost, while Smoke's are almost like more silverish. And they just sort of smile and walk away, and Smoke tries skittering after them, but then gives up after a bit.
Thank you. I think we open up into a scene where this is somewhere between the outskirts of town and the brambles and tangles of the forest in a nearby wild area. And we see Puck, Cobweb, and Peas Blossom. Peas Blossom has his arm and his shoulder still bandaged up. Hasn't quite gotten over the slicing off of the arm. And they are talking. And Lord Oda also sidles up as part of this meeting. And they are discussing the upcoming gathering of people that will be making the pilgrimage to Titania's manor house, deep in the woods. I'm not going to talk to myself, so I'm just going to narrate how it goes. Lord Oda is talking about how some of the things that he's brought along with him at his stay here in the manor house will be helpful for the coven to be able to perform what ritual they need to proceed to Tanya's plan. And Puck says that things are, again, proceeding apace, and that he has to leave to do a few more things before the end game. And again, Puck is red-haired, squat, wiry, handsome. And as he moves away from his companions and they talk amongst themselves in the moonlight, I think we see Puck's features change as he nears the city. And I think his features change. What do you look like when you change, Puck?
Exactly as you remember me. Tall, dark hair, ravishing curls, soft brown eyes. I am the same as I always was.
And that is where we will take you into the Society Obscura. You all go. Eligos, Sir Atticus, Smoke, and Mildred go to the Society Obscura and perform the ceremony, the ritual, to be able to enter the Fragrant Void, to use the camera. For some reason, the society is not there. The only one that has, I guess, kept the lantern lights burning is Periwinkle. And Periwinkle bows when you enter, Sir Atticus, and helps prepare all of the accoutrements to be able to do the ceremony, to do this. And you all find yourselves in comfortable seats up in the Olympus room. I think you hear the murmurs of the Greek gods as they try to taunt you or try to wheedle you as you are all sitting there. But I think only you can hear them, Mildred. You drink the mercury with water. You set the orreries and make sure that the conditions are set for entering the void. And I think as each one of you drift off into this altered state, as the camera is set and its eye is looking at all of you, you wouldn't think so. It's a smallish camera, but you can feel as if its eye is trained upon you no matter where you are seated in this circle. You smell different things. I think Eligos, I think as you drift asleep, you smell Mildred's terrible tea. Smoke, as you can gather the last sense of your last cigar on your person. I think you also start to smell the busyness of a city street. So many people, puddles on the ground, and the smell of people gathered as they make their way around. Mildred, it's almost as if you're back at Hargrave House, in the middle of your garden, smelling the roses and the violets and the lavender and the forget-me-nots. Sir Atticus, you smell what seems to be some particularly cheap church incense, and you all drift into the space of the fragrant void. I think we open with Eligos. As you smell the tea, you think it's pleasant until it feels like you are being unmade. Your stitching has come loose. Things are being torn from your person. Pain around your face as masks are being torn off. You will be your truest self here in the void. Sir Atticus, I think you hear, as you're smelling this incense, I think you hear church bells ringing. Smoke. You wake almost if you're in a dream, and you're holding on to what look like contracts and papers at this immense desk in this well-appointed study. And Mildred, you wake to what sounds like birdsong in a very bright room on a very bright morning. And you hold your arms up. You're only wearing a shift, but you hold your arms up in front of your eyes. There are no scars, no brands, no harm. Eligos, you find yourself outside and you're looking at pale skin that paler than you've ever seen before as you hear the hunting call and somebody crying out, "There he is. There's the Fae. Grab him." Sir Atticus, I think you find yourself in the outside or the other side of a confessional booth. Someone is on that side, on the other side, saying, "Forgive me, Father, I have sinned." Smoke, your sibling is there. Older, with a light in their eye that you never expected to see from anyone, and bringing in morning tea. Mildred, you hear Eligos's voice from out in the hall somewhere. "There's going to be a party at the Duke's this evening. We need to get ready. Were you going to bring one of your pies?" So, Eligos, I think hands pick you up from out of nowhere, and you see dirt-stained hunters coming off of black horses and have taken you by the scruff of the neck. What do you do?
Please. I'm sure we can make a deal.
No deal for the Duke's son. No deal whatsoever for the Fae. Put him on the horse, boys. We're going to take him over to the manor house. And I think nearby you see a puddle. As they take you and try to sling you on the horse, I think you catch a glimpse of your reflection. You are old and shriveled. And there's something about your face that seems like it is ancient and yet young. Mildred, you're still in bed. Again, only in your shift. Maybe you just woke from sleep. But again, you hear Eligos's voice coming from the hall, talking about the party that's coming up in the evening. What do you do?
There's a moment where she sits up. She looks out the window. What does she see?
You see, it's a brilliant morning. It's bright. You have this tangle of a beautiful English garden outside, and then land that spreads out acres nearby a forest. And then in the distance, what looks like a manor house of spreading proportion, possibly of that duke that Eligos cried out about.
She'll get up and instinctively she'll go to the whatever closet she has, or wardrobe, and she'll look inside of it to see not just what kind of dresses are in there, but to see if there's anything behind them. And she'll also look under the bed to make sure that there's nothing under it.
It's actually one of those 4-poster canopy beds that's high off of the ground. You don't see anything underneath that bed except for maybe some slippers and a beautiful ornate rug. And in the wardrobe, you see your usual pastel clothing, but you don't, I mean, they're not high collared. They're not full sleeves. They are beautiful,
More relaxed.
like just country wear, I would say.
She will hesitantly disrobe and put on her undergarments, her corset, if there is one. And then, yeah, she'll put on the dress and she'll step outside of the room and call out to Eligos.
In the kitchen, my love. Sir Atticus, you have a confessor on the other side of that screen. What do you do?
Yes, please confess. He's clearly not in his element at the moment, and he is looking for any sort of weapon to just try and steady himself.
You don't see yourself in your usual hunting gear. Actually, what you find yourself wearing are priest's robes, complete with holy symbol.
Okay.
There is a strange crest on the shoulder, but it's dark in here, so you can't quite see it. And this person will confess some petty sins compared to what you've heard before or what you've actually told before. This person it's like, I spoke to my mum rather sorely, and I think she was mighty hurt by it. It's like supposed to turn the other cheek, aren't I? Supposed to give grace and all that.
Well, yes, and respecting your elders and your parents and the like, but he finds a little bit of comfort in the fact that these are such low stakes that he takes a moment and then comports himself. What is not important is to feel shame over losing control of yourself, but rather taking that as an opportunity to figure out why you lashed out and then go forward from there. Do to our fathers and go get your mother something nice.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Yes.
And leaves. And again, it sounds like the beginnings of what seems to be a service very soon. And Smoke. Yeah, your sibling walks into this room with tea. How old would she be by now? You think?
I think, like, given that Smoke is probably like mid-20s, mid to late 20s, I think she's probably like early 20s. Yeah, something like that.
What's her name?
Did we decide one? You know what? Layla's fine.
Okay.
Callum and Layla kind of like work, so it's fine.
Sure.
I'm going to sort of, she looks happy, you said, right? Like she
Yes.
looks
pleased to see you, happy. She brings the tea with a nice spring in her step.
I'm going to look confused for a second, but I'm going to look at the papers in my hands. What are they?
They are accounts for this duke's estate. You can't quite make out the like Duke of something, but you can't quite make it out. I mean, it's like a kind of unclear. And she's looking down at you and then pouring out a cup of tea. You've been looking at those accounts all morning. I mean, I think the Duke will be fine if you take a little break. I mean, it's wonderful that they invited us here to stay and manage. I mean, after Mom and Pa died, I mean, It's like it's nice to be in new surroundings, for sure.
Right, of course. I am sorry. I should have wished you a good morning a little while ago.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm happy to just take this all in. This is amazing. This is an amazing place. There's going to be a party this evening. We need to make sure that everything's fine, and I'll make sure that the house is ready for the party goers.
Right. Yeah. I've been so caught up in this stuff. Haven't had time to figure out the party.
It'll be fine.
Do you have a gown to wear?
Yes. They were able to send out for some of the best of the Roth new dresses from home, and they came in time, so I can't wait.
I'm going to check my pockets, see if I have any quills on me.
You don't?
But I'm also going to do I have any quills on me?
You do
actually?
not. In fact, if you look across the room in this well-appointed study, you do catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. You are not haggard looking. You are not a mess. You are quite well put together and very handsome. And you are in a suit with well-tied cravat, and your curls are like, coming down your face a little bit, but you look the brightest you've ever been, and there's no indication of any kind of spines or condition at
I'm
all.
going to loosen my cravat a little and say, "Oh, I suppose it's time for that break then." And I'm going to look at her pointedly, a little confused, like even like putting on this thing of being confused for a second, and say, "Have you seen Mirror?"
Who?
Never mind. Well, thank you for the tea. I clearly do need the break. I think I might have dozed off in the middle or something.
Are you
Feel
talking?
weird.
Are you talking about Mira? I mean, she's a little bit in and out. I mean, she's been having too much fun at those late night parties. So, I mean, don't be too bothered. I mean, like, she's doing her job. She's not just wasting her time in her room, okay? Just so you know, she's doing fine. All right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just nod awkwardly and just sort of, pull down the cravat a little more, almost like it's choking me, and just sip the tea.
Okay. And if you happen to move it enough, you'll notice that you do not see any indication that any spines have come out of your chest or
I'm
anything.
going to just let out like sort of a deep breath of like relief or something, but definitely a deep breath and just kind of sip the tea.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Eligos, you're being slung over. You're being slung over the horse and then brought to the manor house, or at least taking a path through what looks like a small town, or kind of like a small town with like houses dotted alongside or a little bit of ways from the road. And then you are passing some other homes here. And I think the landscape changes in a way that I don't think you can tell whether it's because of your usual senses or because there's something weird going on. But I think Suddenly you find yourself near what looks like a smaller manor home, and you're able to look into a window, and you see Mildred, dressed in a beautiful pastel dress with short sleeves, a low collar, and looking quite excited. And then as you're passing by and you're seeing where she's going, the other end of the hall, you see someone that looks like you, or the way you were as Eligos. And he has no face. Do you remain on the horse? Or do you do something?
Am I bound in any way?
No, they kind of just like slung you on. They didn't think that you weren't putting up a fight. So they were just, yeah.
I simply tumble off the horse and disappear.
You hear their cries of, why didn't you make sure he was secured to the horse? And of course, protests and da-da-da. But then you drop off and then do you make your way to that particular house?
I think I might. But very, very, very slowly, very cautiously. I'm looking in every window, trying to see what I see before I go to the door.
Yep. I think you will see your reflection even more clearly now. You present in what look like the simplest of tunics, shifts with, simple belt and pants, and just, you would be a peasant in road clothing, I would imagine, possibly a beggar. And your appearance again is old and wrinkled and very pale, possibly like a changeling, all grown up.
I should count myself lucky I still have my looks. Who said that? Right. The door then.
Do you actually knock or ring the bell?
What kind of fairy rings a bell? No, I slip in through the cracks.
I think you'll find it's very difficult for you to do so.
Then I guess I knock.
And you hear your voice through the door saying, "Coming." Sir Atticus, when you leave the confessional, you will see that there are already a good number of congregation that have gathered here. Some are talking to each other, and some are just sitting, like looking over their prayer book or their hymnal. And then some will turn to you, the ones closest to the confessional, and look at you and just smile very gratefully. And you start to recognize some of them. They look like people that you've saved, people that you've helped in your monster hunting career. After, of course, your priesthood. But somehow they're all here. They're looking at you. Some will actually come to you and clasp your hands and say, "Oh, it's wonderful to see you, Father. Oh, it's good to have you back. Wellington-Hughes back in the church. It's wonderful. The Duke will be very, very pleased to see you."
Oh, I will be happy to speak to the Duke after service. I look around. You said that there is a service that was going to start. Atticus is very off center at the moment, looking around, remembering each person and each kill, and just trying to. He still doesn't have a weapon. He's clutching onto that cross for dear life.
Yeah, and he doesn't need one. Supposedly all friends here. And again, people that are smiling at you, so glad that you're here. And there's the altar boys, like moving towards the back, like, one of them's kind of like signaling you to head over to the to the.
Yeah, Atticus excuses himself and nods, and then goes up the little, I don't know what it's called, the altar,
Something like that.
It's like
it's been a while for me too.
Well, no, it's the Catholic Church has like a special one where like you go up a set of stairs and then like it's an altar and you read from the podium. I don't remember what it's called specifically.
Oh God,
The sacristy, or is that no? That's the area behind that area.
Yeah,
behind.
No. I go up the stairs to the altar so that I can read the notes that I left there for myself. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank goodness. All
there's
right.
There's a beautifully gilded Bible that's sitting there, and then you see the pieces of parchment sticking out with like some of like what looks like your handwriting with some notes in it, I guess marking your place with the beautiful cloth bookmarks and such. And yeah, Mildred, you hear the church bells again. And yeah, you're heading down the hall to Eligos, who is, I think, at this point, like looking like he's in the kitchen. You see his back to you, and he's chopping up some vegetables, and efficiently, of course. Like you see the nice, neat slices and cubes of some of these root vegetables and onions and all that being laid out on the counter. Strong back, not wearing a jacket, just in his house shirt and trousers, possibly a waistcoat. Did you have a fine sleep, dear?
Yes, I think I did. Why are you up so early?
I needed to get things ready for you. I think you said you wanted to have a savory pie as well as a sweet one, so I wanted to get started and make sure that you had what you needed for these pies. Very special for the Duke.
What Duke?
The Duke whose land we live on?
What is her name?
Eligos says their name, the Duke of, but it drifts off somehow, almost as if your hearing has gotten interrupted by birdsong.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Of course. And he repeats himself, and this time it is interrupted by the knock of the door. Coming!
No, I'll get it. And yeah, she'll put her hand up for him to stay back, and she will go to the door.
And he will go on chopping up vegetables and such. Smoke. You are checking yourself, and you do not feel anything of your curse.
Do I hear the church bells? I wanted to ask.
You do. You do.
Can I drop not drop, but like, put down the teacup and just go outside, look at through the windows, which I assume we have in this large mansion.
Yes.
Look at through the windows towards the church.
You see the little village, and the church itself is nestled like right at the edge of the town or the village. And then, of course, the Duke's Manor is just a bit of a lane away from there, so not too far.
Layla, like I said, I think I dozed off and I'm just super confused right now. Could you remind me, like, what's the name of this village? It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't seem to.
Oh, yes, and she says it. You can see her saying it, but it gets lost in the church bells.
Have you been to the church yet? Sounds like an interesting place.
I think they're going to be starting service soon. I have not yet actually had a chance. I've been trying to get things ready for the party tonight. So,
Wow. You said we all deserve a break, and quaint little village.
that's a wonderful idea. Let me put on my hat. Oh, gotta make sure it's I don't think it's too cold out. I think we can just go with our little accoutrements here. So she pulls out your jacket, and she pulls out, it is not your stinky, dirty trench thing, duster thing. No, it is like, a fine like jacket that just like, goes down to your thighs. And then she pulls on like one of those cape shrug things. And then you can head down the lane to the church if you want.
Do I see people on the way in the village? Like, what
Some
do they
people
look
are
like?
outside of the church, and then some people have already gone in, and the church bells are ringing.
And the people just look like normal people.
Yes. Almost like an etching.
Just going to, I'm almost squeezing Layla's hand at this point as I'm sort of just walk into the church.
Eligos, you cannot get through the door, so you can only knock. And you hear your voice saying, "Coming," and then Mildred's voice saying something. Will you be standing out there when the door opens?
Yes.
Okay. Mildred, you open the door and see this. Looks a bit like a beggar. Dirtied tunic and trousers, and like an oldish type of fellow. There seems to be a bit of a sparkle in his eye, though. Maybe somebody with a youthful cast. Who knows?
Yes, may I help you?
Excuse me, miss. Can I trouble you for a name?
Mildred Bloom. And you are?
Mildred Bloom, I suppose. No, that's not right. That can't be it. Sorry, I think I've been unclear. Can I trouble you for my name?
She looks up at him, because I imagine he's taller than her, and looks up into his eyes. Does she recognize the eyes?
I'm going to say that's probably the one thing that has not changed from the Eligos you knew.
So I think when she meets his eyes, and there's that spark of recognition, and she goes from being sort of cordoned off to this look of surprise, and she steps out, shutting the door behind her.
I think as you do that, you hear Eligos's voice saying, "Who is it, darling?"
I think she just ignores him and shuts the door behind her. Steps out. Eligos.
No, that's not it. That's that stuck-up old fuddy-duddy in there. That's not me.
Do you not remember me?
I remember some things quite clearly. Lady Bloom, though I must say that doesn't seem right to call you that anymore. I'll call you Millie. We're friends, aren't we?
Of a sort, yes. And she'll try to take his hand if he lets her into hers.
Oh, of course.
And she looks at it and sees that it's obviously very aged and sees the pallid porcelain complexion and just looks it over, marveling at it, and looks back up at him. You don't remember anything, do you?
Oh, I remember lots of things. The problem is they keep overlapping. There are so many memories. When I was young, I could remember all that happened and all that did not, but now I feel I'm stuck in only the things that have.
Mildred's going to look around and see if she has planted any roses in the front.
You see some roses, yes.
So
They
she'll-
are the color of blood red.
beautiful, gorgeous. She prefers more pink color, but it's fine. She will pluck it out from the earth and taking the stem, I think she's going to grip it between her fist and try to draw some blood. And when she does, she wants to know if she starts to feel any kind of recognition of her power, of her connection to that other world.
Being pierced by a thorn hurts. But what does happen is that blood drips from the piercing down your arm, again, very unblemished and unharmed, and drips onto the cobblestone of, I guess, your front stoop, and then becomes absorbed into the stone. And out from there, you will see from the edge of the lane, of your lane, you will start to see blood start to bubble up from the ground and then over the cobblestones as they make their way to you.
Just like a river of blood.
Yeah, like a growing rivulet of blood that seems to make its way down towards you from this blood that you spilled. And then out from the ground, rising from this pool, river of blood, is a form sheathed in blood. And then out steps a woman in gray leathers and a cowl of gray and red. It would be completely normal except for the fact that she is completely splattered in blood. Oh, I was wondering when someone was going to call. Interesting. Do you like where you are?
I'm not entirely sure. Where am I?
Well, the easiest answer is that you are in the void. Smell much when you came in?
When she says the void, I think that's when Mildred slips her bloody hand into Eligos's and tries to sort of like escort him up onto the step with her.
Ah, this is the Fae I smelled. Oh, stinks just as usual. You don't look like them, though. Without glamour. Huh. And she flicks a finger, and what happens when she flicks the finger is that blood needles pierce your skin, Eligos. Huh, interesting. This is fascinating. I have never seen a fae completely unglamoured. No ties, no fetters, no masks. What are you?
It's something of an open question at the moment.
I can see that. You still have their stink, but different.
Who or what are you?
That's a bit of a loaded question, too. Depends. Do you want to know who I was or who I am?
Why not both?
Depends on if you are concerned about the past or your future.
When this woman says that, there's a moment where Mildred squeezes Eligos's hand, and there's another sort of aha moment, and she remembers a reason that she would have come here, which would have been Penelope. And she looks back up at this woman and asks, "Where is Penelope?"
So you are from Hargrave House. Interesting. How delicious. Oh, this is fun. Are there any more of you around here? I wonder. I need to find out. And then she proceeds to sink into the ground, back into the blood puddle, and then the blood is absorbed into the ground, leaving you two on your front stoop, Mildred. Let's go over to the church. Smoke, or should I say Callum? Callum, you and your sister, Layla, are entering the church as it seems that the service is beginning. You see, I'm going to say you recognize Sir Atticus, but he is not the Sir Atticus of the hunting gear and the weapons. He is the Sir Atticus that it seems to be wearing priest's robes. And
he's already like partway through the service.
I think he's getting ready to start. He's like, up at the lectern or whatever it's called, and he's like looking real nervous but smiling to all of his congregation that recognize him as their savior. And just as buff, yes, just as buff in his priest robes, absolutely.
I'm going to turn to my sister and say, go ahead and take your seat. I think there's someone I need to talk to. And I'm going to go up to this thing and like sort of go up the side and not go up to the lectern itself, just go up the side and like kind of like not motion as much as like hope that Sir Atticus notices me and comes over to the side. But yeah, like I'm going to stay as formal as I would, like, ramrod straight and like everything perfectly done. Like I've re-straightened my tie and everything, my cravat and everything. So, yeah.
I think as you do this, I think people are noticing that he's getting ready to speak, and they're quieting down, and then they're all looking at him raptly, waiting for him to begin.
He will begin to awkwardly read the verses that he had earmarked.
When you open the book, Atticus.
Oh. Okay.
When you open the book, you will notice that the cloth bookmarks are blood red, and that your handwriting is scrawled as if like a shaking hand. You know it's your handwriting, but in a shaky hand, you've written, "This is not the place you thought it was."
are okay. All right. Play it cool. Play it fine. We're in the middle of public speaking. All right. The bookmark still shows a page with Bible verses on it, right?
Correct.
Atticus is going to read them in a nice, even tone while trying to very calmly pull out additional notes from the side of the paper to just try and piece together what exactly he's building towards. It's sort of like if you did an all-nighter for a public presentation and you wake up not remembering what you were talking about and all you have are flashcards. He is doing that and doing as much as he can to lean on quotations without having to actually utter anything of his own.
And I think one of the quotations that you pull out, and you just start reading without even thinking about what you are reading.
Yep.
And one of them are actually, you know what? I'm going to have you do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Give me a second. I'm going to pop it into the chat. So you're reading these verses, like trying to just pull from either your faulty memory or from what you've scrawled on these sheets or marked on these pages. And then this one happens to be one that you say out loud for what it is.
When I say to the wicked, you will surely die, and you do not warn him or speak out to warn the wicked from his wicked way, that he may live, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand.
And as you say that, the bookmark spreads onto the book and pools onto the floor. And out from the pool rises a woman in gray leathers and a gray and red cowl, splattered over in blood. Everyone's looking on like it's normal.
Lady is just stepping out of my book and everyone's okay with this?
Oh, we're out of the pool that has dripped onto the floor.
Okay.
And everybody's cool with it. Yep. I mean, maybe not Smoke. I mean,
Here's
Callum.
the question. Do I
Yes.
have a gun on me?
You have no gun. No gun on you whatsoever.
And no knife, I take it.
No knife.
Can I say I have a brooch on me with like my family crest or whatever?
Sure, it's probably like on your cravat.
I'm going to take it off and like, since it's the best thing I have, I'm going to like safety pin side out basically is the, and I'm going to stare the woman down and like step a little closer to Atticus, not enough to take up his lectern area, but closer to the woman basically. So that if she makes this thing, I can like attack her with a safety pin apparently. But yeah.
Atticus is going to grab onto that silvered cross that you mentioned that he had, that holy symbol. And look at one of the altar boys, I guess, and kind of just throw up a couple of hand signals that he hopes means lead everyone in some song while I step away for a moment.
He will rise and open his mouth, and out of his mouth comes the voice of an angel singing some hymn about something, and the rest of the congregation,
that's cool.
Yeah, and then the congregation joins in. You know, they all rise, they all have like their hymn books out or whatever, and they just start to sing along with him. And the church like actually like shakes with the resonance of their song. And yeah, so she will smile and then gesture for you to lead on to the sacristy. I think you wanted to talk, yes?
Yes. I'll step down. See Smoke. I recognize them.
They're not as like messed up as they normally are, but I would imagine so, yeah.
Look at the brandished silver pin. Yes, this is Smoke. No matter what fancy garb, immediately goes for a weapon. Tiny fist bump, and like we're going to the sacristy. We're gonna do this. Talk with weird blood leather lady. Let's go.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
I think if you do happen to look back, Smoke, Callum, I think you're going to see that your sister is again risen with everybody else and just, singing
And she
along.
doesn't seem to notice that I'm
Nope.
leaving either, right?
Nothing.
Perfect.
Okay, so we step into the sacristy,
Mm-hmm.
and just close the door. So pardon me, my lady, but I'm afraid I'm not familiar with you. Although you, and I point to Callum, you I do recognize.
And you, Sir Atticus, you look a little different from the last time I saw you.
It's an outfit I haven't worn in a long time.
Sir Atticus,
Likewise.
you don't normally see, well, titled priests. You're an anomaly.
Says the
That's
woman
rich
who
coming
stepped out
from
of
you.
pool. Exactly, just same brain cell, just like,
You're covered in leather and you stepped out of no. But yeah, that's rich coming from you.
I think I have found the other denizens of Hargrave House. Come upon our little settlement here. Interesting.
And at the mention of Hargrave House, clicks. Right, we were here. Camera. Magic.
Ah,
Camera,
again.
yes.
You are also here because of the camera.
Penelope Levy.
Ha. All right, we have confirmed the party of Hargrave House here. I think your companions are making their way here quite soon, and I think we can, well, if you'd like, we can meet them outside.
Yep.
You don't seem like the kind of person who necessarily wants such a reunion to happen.
Oh, I have no control over who comes here, but I can at least let you know what you're in for. As she again gestures to go outside, a different door, of course, than rather into the church, and the hymn rings on.
As we leave, Atticus will take one step out, step back inside, and just grab like the biggest like cross on a pole that he can get, and just like heft that over his shoulder. All right.
Which you can.
I mean, Altar Boy can complain later, but like this is I need something. I kind of look apologetically at Smoke. This is a church. Sorry, there's no gun.
It's fine. I should have picked something up at the Duke of something or the other's manor, but it's fine.
You're moneyed here.
I'm married in more than one place. Just, it's not my money, or I don't consider it as such.
Atticus will nod, give one last longing look to the sacristy, and then follow behind the blood teleporting person.
So I think as Sir Atticus and Calum step out of the church, what are Mildred and, shall I call you nameless at the moment?
Well, you can just say whatever.
Mildred and
Nameless
whatever.
works.
It's great.
Whatever. Nameless. Really, I'm just, yeah. No, it's an open question.
Okay.
That's not the voice I was doing. Hang on.
It changes. It will change.
No, but I hate that one because it sounds like a bad Seinfeld side character.
Oh God, please don't do that one. Don't do that one then.
Did the Duke say that she was going to the church?
No, she said she was
To
going
us.
to find the other Hargrave House people, and then she just dropped out and into the ground.
I mean, if that's the case, I don't know
Puddle
if
of blood.
Mildred would be going to the church then.
Okay.
I think it'd just be more about like staying outside of the house, away from this other Eligos who has a knife. And sort of, I guess, wandering the gardens with whatever, and she'll go, so you don't remember anything about
No, I
Hargrave
remember.
House and Belgrave Square?
Yes, no, I was the enemy of Hargrave House. I had to destroy. No, I needed to protect someone who was there. It was you.
What were you supposed to destroy?
Oh, Mother wasn't very specific about it. She just wanted you gone. You know how she gets. Or do you know how she gets? I can't quite recall.
No, but I'm learning.
Any other questions? They seem to be good for both of us.
Plenty. I just don't know where to start. I don't. And when she says I don't, she'll look down at her hand. Does she like feel any connection between the pain and her connection to the arcane?
There is no connection. You are well. You are human. And you have no beast.
Are you looking for the beast again?
No, I'm looking for Penelope. Do you remember Penelope?
Yes, she was some kind of socialite. Liked getting her picture taken. Maybe a little too much?
Do you feel a connection to this place? Do you have any...
Oh no, this is wrong. This is all wrong.
Yes, I'm getting a sense of that. And she'll look back at the house and make sure that he's not coming out of the front door, and go, well, perhaps we should use this time to go look for her, and perhaps find the others. If what the Duke said is real, then they're here. I just don't know where.
I have some idea where to check. Just, you see those horse tracks? They were bringing me to meet the Duke.
Well, I suppose if you've met her, who are the horsemen?
Goons. I don't quite recall. I don't think they were real.
I'm not sure any of this is real, but it's real to us now, and we must endure and persevere. So I will ask you to lead the way then, if you have a better sense of where you're at and where things are. I unfortunately do not.
Right. Grab my hand. I'll lead the way.
She will.
There is no weight, I think, when you grab Mildred's hand. It's almost as if touching someone's hand for the first time. Very companionable. No ties. No weight. You are free here. If that helps any. Nameless.
Oh no, I've had freedom. This is much better.
This is honesty.
Hmm. Honesty.
I think as you're following the horse tracks, I think you're starting to see almost like a purple shadow go across the bright sky. It's imperceptible at first. It just seems to have like a small tinge as the sky darkens with this. Could be fog, could be a trick of cloud cover, or maybe it's very large tentacles. Who knows? But as you're looking at the horse tracks, you start seeing that in the mud, they look strange, as if almost turning bloody in this weird light. Back at the church, as you both, Calum and Atticus, make your way outside a bit with this woman, you notice the landscape start to change. It no longer really looks like the meadow or edge of the village. It starts to look like black obsidian, almost as if the greenery of the meadow starts to fade away and it turns into black obsidian that stretches out into the horizon, which also darkens with what looks like cloud cover or shadow. Are you starting to see now?
I take a deep breath of the air here. What's it smell like?
Where inside the church you smelled the cheap church incense, I think out here it smells of first a whiff of cinnamon and something warm, like smoke from a brazier. And then it smells of stilled air, as if nothing is moving, not even the air within your lungs.
Okay.
And the woman turns to you both. Still, again, gray leathers and the gray and red cowl, but blood splattered all over. While we wait for your friends, is there anything that you wanted to do here? Obviously, you had some idea when you came through the portal that you were going to, I don't know, be something that you're not? Or is this what you truly, and she looks at you both very carefully, up and down, is this truly what you wanted when you entered the void?
Are there others that are real? Very pointedly not answer her question. Smoke has no subtlety.
No,
Not in their vocabulary.
Atticus fully went self-introspective, and the fact that Smoke's like, no, we're not playing your game. Tell us the truth. It's good.
They are as real as you and I. They exist here. And that is enough.
They're puppets.
No. They are
A fancy name for puppets?
no. You are amusing. Are you sure you weren't an actor when you were back home? Whatever that is. Or whenever that is.
Quite.
It's a liminal
No.
place. It's a place between in transition.
Correct. Correct. But you don't have to consider it a transition. You could just as easily stay here and be whatever you are, as I am. I'm
Is that
sorry.
what happened?
I'm horrible at introductions. I am the Duke of Blood. This
And
is my
you-
land.
You live in the camera?
The camera is merely a gateway. It is a way into this place. One of many different ways.
All right, that's good. We got to remember that one.
Does Penelope Levy and the others who have taken these gateways, do they all choose to live as if this were their destination? Do they move on to whatever this place leads to?
Well, I think as you found out, some people get the ritual correct, and they end up here, being whatever they truly are, underneath, well, everything, or they make a mistake and possibly find themselves in a place they really didn't want to be. So, I'm assuming since you're here, that you have performed the ritual correctly, and now you have a bit of a choice, if you'd like. You can remain here and be exactly this, whatever this is for you. Or you can go back home and do whatever Hargrave House's bidding is. I know. I used to do that myself.
Atticus is going to step up to the Duke of Blood, like deeply invading personal space.
And when you do this, she goes right up to you as well and says, actually will draw her finger down your cheek to your chest and say, you seem like a man of action. Would you like to lay out and make hot toad wallow on this ground?
He gently grabs the lapel of this leather outfit, rubs it between his fingers so he gets some of this blood that's still somehow on these leathers. As tempting as a proposition as that would be, he slowly takes a lick of the blood, gets a flavor for it.
Another monster hunter. Do they have Emily Greys in your world?
Yes, they do.
And your family? What is your family name?
As honored as I am that you would ask that, dear Duke, I see no reason to give you that information.
Do you think me one of the Fae that you think I would care about imprisoning you by a name?
No, I simply think that
foolish.
you've given me a title and not an actual name, so I didn't think it was polite to fully introduce myself. As such, Sir Atticus is adequate. Just as Duke of Blood is to you, unless you have another title you wish to share.
No. I mean, I've actually been quite honest. That was my family name. Before I became this.
And then Atticus will
despite
step
all
away
of that-
slowly.
Smoke is not going to step forward, but they're going to say, despite all of that, despite everything you've seen, you've clearly seen some things. You really think that you can take people's circumstances away from them and they'll still be the same people? It's got to be a little bit stupid for a creature of your looks, her up and down, your powers.
It is not me who takes away anything. Again, you've passed the gate. You've passed through the portal. You've come here of your own volition to the Fragrant Void, seeking, well,
Penelope Levy.
Penelope
Seeking
Levy. For one person, you have come here to this place, just as I and my companions had come once before. For
one
Penelope
person
Levy.
who is more person to us than all those people in the church are to you. Person who can, hopefully, who could at least have a mind of her own and not live in whatever fantasy you've created or someone else has created here.
Really? You would think. Let us look at that mind, shall we? And then she gestures further on down the black obsidian until you see what looks like a similar building, but looks like a bit of a theater. If you remember what the West End, the Palais de Gaieté looked like, just imagine a black obsidian version of it, a few paces away. And then we will go back to Mildred and Nameless's chase of the horse tracks. They lead to what looks like the manor house. You don't quite see the black obsidian in the distance. You do see the darkening sky. And the manor house looks like a grim silhouette in the background now because of it. Do you still go?
We do. So I kind of touched on it before in earlier sessions, and I think this is maybe a good time to clarify and see if it'll work. Because her spells are different than like her power. The spells are things that she learned. And so I'm wondering if there would be a way with the flora in our vicinity, if I could pull some of the things to actually perform like a ritual to try and, zero in on where Penelope is. A rite of salt and smoke, if you will.
It is a different ritual here. It is the rite of flowers and blood.
I love both. Do I roll with disadvantage because of tainted, or why are we tainted again? What happened to us?
Because you used the ritual room for one of the threats, and because you were using it in service to the resolve, so the resolution, then everybody got tainted, including yourself.
Oops.
Because of
My
benefit.
bad. Yeah,
it's the benefit.
My bad, y'all.
I'm gonna say disadvantage. However, again, you can recall some of your personal quarters items if you want to try and cancel that out.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I guess we're not good. That's snake eyes.
Oh my. Ooh.
Part of me wants to see what I accidentally conjure up. But because I have it, I will mark a mask.
Which one?
I'm going to go ahead and mark the mask of the loner as part of the ice skates that I have.
Okay.
So I'm not going to mark the item, but I will cross the mask out.
Sure, absolutely. All right. So I think, 7 to 9. What does this look like when you create this ritual? So instead of having access to salt and smoke, you have access to your flowers or any of the flowers here and your own blood, which is the first time that you have ever spilled it here.
Would Honesty have taken the rose that she had pricked her hand on, or did he just kind of leave it behind?
Did you offer it to me?
No,
Then what did you do with it?
I don't know. What's asking? I guess I just left it behind then. Tossed it aside. So I think as we're heading on our way, realizing that we just have no sense of time and space, Mildred will start to ask Honesty to help her pick certain things, pointing out certain things to incorporate to the ritual. And when everything's gathered, she uses her own teeth to pierce into her thumb and bites enough to break the skin. And she'll just try to like squeeze out as much blood from her thumb over the flowers, reciting the incantation.
I think that you're going to see like a ways from the manor house, possibly in a different direction from the horse tracks, that there is a black obsidian building in the distance that is lit up. Like you start to see the lights like light up as if a show is about to start.
The complication I'm going to choose, if you'll allow me, will be that it will draw unwanted attention, immediate unwanted attention.
I think as you turn to make your way towards that, the silhouette of the Palais de Gaieté made of black obsidian, I think you feel someone come from behind and wrap their arms around your shoulders, and then you hear whispered into your ear, "Come back to the house. We can spend some time there. I can make you some food. I can take care of you. Come back. Come back."
Yeah, as
Eligos's voice speaks that into your ears.
Yeah, as clone Eligos is trying to drag me back, not having her full capacity of power. She's otherwise physically pretty weak. So I think she's trying her hardest to get him off of her, but I think she's just sort of kicking in futility, digging her heels into the grass, calling out to other Eligos.
Honesty, what do
All
you
right.
do?
Oh, I deck him.
Oh, this is with vitality, sir.
Right. +1.
Is this a night move or a day move?
Is
This is a void move.
Oh,
5 on the dice. So 6. I'm marking a mask.
Okay.
I will mark. I should have. Doesn't feel right to use an item. Either way.
All right. So, okay. So I think you, oh man, complications upon complications. I'm going to leave that one for a second. I think you connect and you get him off of Mildred, but something happens, but I'm not going to tell you what just yet. Okay. Back to Smoke and Calum and Sir Atticus. You are making your way to the Palais de Gaieté, and the scene has changed. Now it's nighttime, and the people that were in the church are now in their nighttime finery, and they are making their way into the Palais very happily, talking and chattering, getting ready to take their seats for the show. Everything is done in blood red. The curtains, the carpeting, the seating. And you don't know this person, Sir Atticus, but Caleb might. It is Lily DeVere, but she looks much younger than when you met her, when you were handling that threat. And she is welcoming everyone into the play for the wonderful one-woman show of Penelope Levy doing a turn of her theme, the masks you wear. Do you go in? Or do you wait to see if you see Eligos and Mildred? Do you remember?
Eligos and Mildred?
Yes.
I feel like I remember Mildred.
Yeah.
Eligos might be a bit more of a blur right now. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Eligos. I remember Mildred more. It's just, yes, I remember Mildred and her man, that fine chap, that good fellow who helped me occasionally. Damned if I couldn't remember his name, though.
I can't either. He's always around the house.
For Mildred, yes.
So wait. You said Goodfellow.
Yes.
Honestly? Really? That was Robin Goodfellow.
What?
Faye. Excuse me, I have something to do. And then she sinks into the ground, into a puddle of blood. And she leaves you, whether you want to go in or not, your choice, into the Obsidian Palais.
Honestly, extend an arm over to Smoke. I'll go see a show while we wait.
Smoke is going to take the arm, but as they walk in, they're like sort of not dragging their heels as much as sort of just very thoughtfully stepping almost. And you hear them mutter, she thinks she can just take all of that away because this is who we truly are. And like the air quotes around truly is basically implied.
I think as you say that, your sister will come up from behind you and take your other arm and say, oh, how exciting! I've heard of Penelope. She has this amazing show where she will do like different things with costuming, quick change, and then she'll show different characters as she does them. It's amazing. But I mean, never seen it, so I'm so excited for this. I'm so glad you got us tickets.
Look down at Layla. I assume she's shorter than me.
Mm-hmm.
And just like linger there for a bit, just like, the sort of younger sister dressed very well, I'm dressed very well, and like, we're going to a play together. Just take that in for a minute.
She's very happy to see you. She's excitedly, holding on to you and just, very glad to be doing this with you.
Smoke's hands are shaking a little bit as they just take a deep breath and continue inward. halfway in, I'm going to turn to Sir Atticus and say, don't suppose you have, don't suppose you happen to have any smokes on you.
Atticus will reach into his pocket and he will pull out a pair of incense smoke sticks and a single match. This is the best I've got, I'm afraid.
Smoke is going to, Callum is going to throw their head back and laugh. They're going to take one of the incense sticks and like break it off such that, it's not going to burn them, but also it's a smaller stick now. Light it up carefully, keeping the end of it sticking out of their pocket such that, they're not going to burn their pocket, but it's just going to be there. I am an incense stick holder now, basically.
I have a couple of extra ones when that one runs out.
Thank you. This will have to do for now.
As to your question, and Atticus will give a look to this younger woman who Atticus has absolutely no context for who they are, but it's obvious that they're close and that there's some history there. You know who you are. This change in circumstance, this illusion, this possibility, it is not permanent, no matter what she says. But there is a moment for rest here, and closure if you need it.
Smoke smiles and lowers their voice as they say, I prefer the kind of closure that can be achieved with guns and knives, not. Looks over at Layla, doesn't say anything, and just turns back.
Simpler, yes. As satisfying, debatable. But the show's.
Are we sitting in our seats by now? Like, can I lean over safely to Atticus without Layla overhearing anything?
Yes. The lights of the lights of the theater dim, and then they're getting ready because you can hear like an orchestra start to hum to life, and you can hear that warming up sound, the tuning sound happening.
Did I have to check my cross in at the door along with my vestments, or am I just in the middle of the theater with just this tall cross?
Nobody says anything about it.
Perfect. I'm keeping it with me. All right. Put in the little cup holder there so I don't have to hold it the entire time.
My god.
Oh my gosh.
Smoke is going to lean over and their voice is going to shake as they hold their crest in their hand, this time flipped over the right way. They're going to look at you and they're going to say, you don't understand. All those years, all those people I killed and their families I ran from, and all that time I spent hiding so that I didn't hurt them. You don't understand. It can't have been for nothing. It had to mean something. It can't just be this.
Atticus will look with concern, a little sadness, and a lot of empathy, as somebody who has also had to kill a lot for the sake of a family name, for preserving family honor. It was not a waste, because it.
But if this is what could have been, then all that time I spent taming myself, really, myself for being, and chastising myself for being so foolish. If this is what could have been, then that means nothing. And I'm clutching the this thing really hard, the crust really hard, and the safety pin's digging into me a little bit.
Atticus will gently place a hand on Smoke's hand, tightly clenched as it is. Gentle, warm, waiting. It was who you were. You, Smoke, are a collection of everything that you have done, that you have seen, every step you have taken. And it has brought you to this moment. Not this facade, but you entering into this fragrant void. It was not for nothing.
Smoke unclenches their fist a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit. And like, almost like tries to disappear into their seat a little bit as they turn back towards the main stage.
Atticus will leave the hand there for a moment. And then focus on the stage.
Yeah.
As the lights go up, we fade into the darkness of honesty, punching out the fake Eligos and driving him into the ground. Still couldn't see his face because of the darkness and because he grabbed you from behind, Mildred. And I think when you do hit him, honesty, I think you almost see the facial features form like ripples where you punched. And then out of the ground is a blood fountain. And then stepping out of the blood fountain is the Duke of Blood. So, I thought I smelled a fae. You are Robin Goodfellow, son of one of the queens. And then she will reach out, not touching you, but she will make like she's grabbing you by the throat. And blood spurts from your own skin. And you see a handprint there, Mildred, clutching his throat. Tell me why I shouldn't squeeze the life from your shriveled form.
Because I want to kill my mother. And I can use this place to do it.
And she drops you into the blood. Really? How do you propose to do that?
Help, it burns. Help.
Mildred will go up and, as forcefully as she can, which isn't very forcefully, I think she has a -1 in vitality, she'll put her hand on the Duke's shoulder and just sort of try to wrench her back. Unhand him.
Fine. And then she releases her hand, which then releases the blood from his throat. Interesting. What do you propose to do? How do you propose to bring this back?
That's
Do
an
you
odd way
want-
to say it.
What do you want? Or are you just very bored?
Oh. Time has no meaning. Boredom is only of those who mock time. You are curious because you are the first since my group to come here to the Fragrant Void from Hargrave House. And I just have to wonder why. You say Penelope Levy. She's here. She's happy. She's doing what she's always wanted to do. As opposed to when we came here and the Penelope Levy that we were sent to save was torn apart, turned into nothing. And we only got her back when we fought the great thing. And this is where she looks off into the distance. And you see the sky looking like it has fingers of darkness. And then nebulae in the wide expanse of space. And then you realize that they're actually tentacles with no stars, no light coming from them. That is what truly rules here. I am merely a thumbprint of this vast space.
Are you a servant of this beast?
In a manner of speaking, I brought back power to help me in my goals, my quest. And I did my time, and I was called back. But I guess an interesting price for power.
You call
But
this power?
What?
This isn't power.
Oh,
This is a dream. This is fantasy. You have no power here.
no,
Look at
I
that thing
don't.
above you. It's the illusion of power.
Do you know what it's like to be nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe that's why you're here. Because you understand. My group was given the opportunity to be more than we ever were. I was this when I came here. You, all, on the other hand, did not come and become more powerful. You became more of yourselves here. Even him, as she nods over to Honesty. A child of the Fae. And she goes over to actually like sniff you, Honesty. I think you're actually human. Underneath all that, if you were her child in your place, your space, here you are brought down to what you truly are, without any of the glamours, without any of what binds you or keeps you under control. How do you feel about that? Knowing you're unfettered here.
That's something of an open question. I like it. It's fun.
And you can have more of that. You don't have to go back. You can stay here. Be more of what you are, if that is what you like.
Is that what this is then?
This.
You found power, and yet you have nothing to show for it except illusions. Is it companionship you seek, or something that you can toy with and hunt here? Have you grown so bored of your position?
There are people brought here by the numerous ways that they find the void, whether it be by the Whateley Camera, whether it be by gateways, whether it be by investigating mysteries in some strange place elsewhere. There are all comers. Some choose to stay, and some choose to find their way out. I am promising nothing. I'm merely saying and stating what can happen, what has happened. If you are from Hargrave House, you had, or abilities. You had talents that Hargrave House used to full advantage, I'm sure. Here, you are free from all that. You are free to be the truest and most honest self that you are.
It's not freedom. Look. And Mildred points her head up towards the sky, to the writhing tendrils of darkness that are above us.
We don't see that all the time.
Before I answer your question, can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Can you do anything that that thing doesn't like? Have you even tried? Has it occurred to you?
It didn't like when I and my companions had powered a crystal cube to throw at it. Didn't seem to like that very much and spit us out. But having walked the void, you are forever changed. In some way. I suppose I could go home. Maybe. But I will say it is quite satisfying to be able to be this. And as she wiggles her fingers, it's like the blood that is spattered all over her, it starts to come round and starts to swirl like a small blood storm around her head.
Are we on the stage and the other two are watching, or?
No, you are still outside, like
Okay.
not near the Palais just yet. They're getting ready to watch a show.
Then Mildred will go. I think I understand now then. Your time in Hargrave House. I wonder, did you really have anybody there for you, with you?
And this is where she will look off into the distance and her lips purse. And you almost see a little bit of a trembling in her lips. And then she'll turn back to you, Mildred, and look at you honestly and say, perhaps there was someone who was the kindest and the most human of all of us. And she looks nostalgic as she says, and he succeeded in what he set out to do. And he found his home, his true home,
And
with
it
people
wasn't
that
with
cared
you.
about him.
And it wasn't with you.
No. I wasn't expecting him to stay at Hargrave House, but he was more human than those of us that were. We needed that. Otherwise, the darkness fell. And it did fall once he left.
You have a chance here to not let that happen to us. I'm sorry that you felt that you don't have anybody after you left. I'm sorry you felt powerless there. in comparison to this place. You are a hunter. You understand the work. There are people here who we need to help. You don't have to be this, and she gestures to like your form. You can still help people.
Who do you have here? Or, I should say, who do you have at Hargrave House?
There's a moment where she looks to Honesty. She doesn't say anything, but she just looks over at him.
And she will turn to Honesty and say, "You are unfettered. If you have something to say, truly say. And if you truly care, this would be the place to do it. After this, there are no guarantees that you will be able to speak freely or, again, unburdened once you leave this place, if you get to leave this place. I suggest taking in a show." And then she gestures to the obsidian Palais lit up, and you hear the tuning of the orchestra as she drops into a pool of blood, which is then absorbed into the ground.
Shall we?
Of course.
And Mildred will tuck her arm under Honesty's and we'll start to walk towards the theater.
Oh, just this once. Can you lead?
Of course. And she will lead.
So the lights go down, and spotlights are up, and then the hum of the orchestra as they begin the opening strains of some melody. Paint the scene. Honesty, Mildred, as you walk up to take in the show, and Calum and Atticus, as you are sitting there watching, waiting for the curtain to go up. What do you hear in the melody that reminds you of home?
So Mildred hears. She hears the sound of the piano that continues to play itself at odd hours in the music room. She would like to hear something from an earlier time, but unfortunately, I think that she, at this point, considers Hargrave House home.
I think, first of all, how dare you ask such a big, important question? It makes me think about stuff. Second of all, I think Honesty hears the gentle, like, just a few notes on a pan flute mimicking bird song.
I think Smoke hears the rhythmic, almost sounds almost like a mix of the rain pattering in London and just footsteps, just a sort of rhythmic, soft pattering.
There's the low bass, just a constant thrumming that reminds me of the footfalls of the people in London.
And I think honesty. And Mildred, I think somehow you find yourselves in seats just behind Calum and Atticus. You recognize the silhouette of their heads sitting in front of you, and the curtain rises, and there's Penelope Levy, as you who have seen her in the photograph remember her. And she has props near her. She has different things around her that might have been in the picture itself. And she also has stage props like shawls or different things like a brush or an instrument. And she begins to play these different characters, like turning from one side to the other as she begins to make like she is all of these characters all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And from behind you, in a whispered burble, as if she's speaking through perhaps blood, you hear the Duke. And she says, Penelope is giving you an out. She is performing here to keep everyone else distracted. Note the faces in the crowd, all those that you remember from your past, or that you would wish to see in your future. They will come after you if you truly don't want to stay. Then I suggest you leave post haste.
We're not leaving until we know that Penelope is truly where she wants to be.
At that, the backdrop on the stage begins to move of its own volition, and you realize that the blood-red curtain behind her has droplets of blood that start to move away from the curtain and start to wash, turn into little droplets that patter and fall upon the stage. And she kind of gives a little bit of a look behind her, almost as acknowledging a signal by nodding, and then continues on with her show and raises a glass, a wine glass that she has as a prop, without looking, but looking at all of you and raising the glass. And then she kind of imperceptibly, juts her chin out as if to say, go.
Mildred looks at the others to see what their take is, what the read on this is.
Atticus is just eyeing the stage to see if there's a way for him to get on there. Because if Penelope's caught in some sort of trance or something, he's getting ready to like fireman carry her out of this theater.
I was just gonna say Smoke is going to sort of resignedly sigh, lean down and pick up a handkerchief that Layla has dropped, clutch it tightly, and look towards Mildred with the sort of expression of, let's do what we have to.
So I'm going to say, if you want to do this, you guys rolled an 11, so you do succeed in what you want to do. So I'm going to say, conveniently for Sir Atticus, there may be one of those like guidelines or something, like, for the curtain or for the, like the pulleys and such nearby, near your box. So what would you like to do?
Oh, we're gonna Errol Flynn down there. Are you kidding me? I grab the rope, wrap it around my wrist, and offer like Smoke, like we're going down there, right?
Smoke is going to take off their just hastily, not with this thing, hastily take off their very prim coat and cravat situation, just in like this white shirt, and just
And Layla
yeah.
says, "What are you doing? Sit down. The show's still going on. She's wonderful."
Look at Layla, not really say anything. Look kind of sad, but yeah.
Go for
Grab
it.
the others.
Family names aren't worth much anyway. Damn the Wellington-Hughes family. And we swing on down.
Do you all swing down?
I mean, we got one box. Like, if ever wants to cling to Sir Atticus, then sure.
I mean, he's broad enough, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
can
Let's
take it.
go.
Right. Right.
I weigh nothing, so
I'm roughly the
true.
size of a barge. All right.
Is the implication here that the curtain or the something behind the curtain is like a creature or something like that?
Or a way to go through. Remember, she would transport through blood.
Then as the others are starting to pulley down, I imagine it's like sort of like a hang glide thing, right? I think she'll look around, seeing the different faces down in the audience, seeing no face Eligos probably looking up at her, seeing probably some faces from the coven. She'll just look very determined at the curtain, and with her palm still cut open, she will squeeze on it, trying to draw out more blood, and she'll just put her hand up, trying to sort of open the portal so that she can get out.
I think you'll at this point see it respond. So the pattering of the blood droplets, there are some that are starting to become attracted to you, Mildred, and will meld with yours. And then you'll notice that the hand that is outstretched with the bloody wound will start to absorb some of this, and then you will have that particular arm and hand encased in blood. Yours and possibly the Duke's.
Do we see the Duke around?
You do not see the Duke, although if you do look back, you might see a figure in the darkness raise a hand in farewell.
She'll look back, and she won't say it, but it's almost with her eyes. She'll say, you know, thank you, but in a more sort of like sympathetic way, almost pitying. And she'll turn back towards the stage, and then just with this like grand gesture, she'll just rip it open and, you know, tear open the portal.
It is like tearing apart like curtains. And as the blood, you pass through the blood and absorb some of the blood, Mildred, the rest of you are either hang gliding or like being drawn in through the blood. You feel the spattering of it on your faces, on your clothing. You smell the scents that brought you here, and you taste that metallic taste of whatever concoction you use to enter into the void.
Yeah.
As you have split open into the Society Obscura. And I think at this point, you all see the frescoes or pictures of the Greek gods, like just pointing and just staring in surprise. And I think you can actually hear them be quite surprised that you actually made it back. And in someone's arms, I don't know who snatched her up as they went past, but in someone's arms, it's like Penelope Levy looks like she is asleep, and she is unconscious. But she's there.
And we're all just like drenched in blood, right? We're
You're
just, like,
drenched in
head
To
blood.
the
toe.
bone.
To
Head
the
to toe.
bone, head to toe. Eligos, or honesty. What do you look like back home?
I look exactly as you remember me. Tall, dark hair, ravishing curls, soft brown eyes. Same as I always was. Hmm. Same as I always was.
And you have succeeded in resolving the Whateley camera. Rewards. A Whateley camera added to your personal quarters. A moon mask added to your personal quarters. And then the other 3 are a memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is, and then add it to your personal quarters. So claim what you'd like.
I want the camera.
Okay. Sure.
I'm gonna take a memento and I'm going to ask Smoke what the memento is.
It's a small, sharp piece of obsidian edged in blood.
Two points. One, Mads, is this a circle on the hunt?
Yes, this is definitely a circle on the hunt, for
Then
sure.
I would ask Eligos, what sense do I get of the beast's slowly encroaching presence? Just a scent, a feeling, that sort of thing.
I think the blood you're covered in smells strange, acrid, sort of alien, not quite like any creature you've ever hunted.
All right. And then for my item, I would also like to claim a memento from the investigation, and I will ask Mildred to please give it to me. What is it?
You have that large crucifix staff, but it broke on the way out, so it's got a sharpened end.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Nice.
I'll ask Honesty or Eligos what I got from the investigation.
I think you got that handkerchief that you picked up.
Did everybody get a reward? Did it? Okay. So, unless you're really close to another advancement, don't really have to go through dawn questions, or are you? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Just real quick. Did you resolve a threat? Hell yeah.
Yes.
So let's see. Everybody can mark that off. Brain does not want to work. Okay. And you didn't answer a question because you did that one already. And I think we did that last time. Yeah, we totally did because we did several questions.
Yeah.
So resolve a threat, definitely. We didn't do Echo in the Night because we were not even in London. And yeah, I mean, unless your dawn question specifically speaks to what you did in today's session, then it doesn't apply. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if it did, go ahead and take the point. I'm cool with that.
So like I did the lapel thing with the Duke of Blood. It just got a taste of that fragrant void blood.
Yeah.
And then as we slid down, final act of defiance, family names are kind of garbage. Nice. I don't know if I quite loudly cursed the Wellington-Hughes name, but yes.
There you go. All righty. Let's go backwards then. Yeah, it's like, well, Mildred, you've achieved all of your advancements, including the custom move. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then Eligos.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay, you did resolve the threat, and then Smoke resolved a threat for sure. And did you use violence to solve a problem?
I don't think so. For once.
For once, yeah. I think
for like the first time in, I think, at least like a few sessions.
Absolutely. Holy cow. That's amazing. All right. So I am owed 2 masks at the beginning of
Yeah.
whenever we have our full session again. So we'll figure this out offline. So I want to get right to, oh my God, stars and freaking wishes. Jack, if you want to go first, since you have to like buzz.
Yeah. Overall, this was a really good time. I was really kind of not taken aback, but just enjoyed the level of intimacy that everything seemed to have. I especially love because we never see Smoke's sort of softer side, and this is definitely the session where they felt the most tragic, and we got to see that part of them. And I think it was a major growth on their part, and I really enjoyed getting to see it. Really enjoyed honesty. I really loved the sort of like fragmented Fae brain, not trying to take everything in and processing it in their own unique way. I thought that was really good RP there. Even in weird dimensions where they're priests, Sir Atticus still finds a way to be hot, which I'm always here for. But like the scene in the theater between you and Smoke was very good. I really enjoyed watching that. And then Mads, I really liked getting to have that moment with the Duke, where it started off combative on Mildred's end, but I think when she sort of started to understand the Duke's pain and their own loneliness, like there was a moment where I think it was sort of more relatable and also sort of a start to call back to your Fragrant Void time, because I remember that. It was a good time. And I remember the ending, which was even better. But Wish, yeah, I'm just I want to know when we can get together next, because we've got a Fae Queen to beat the hell out of, and I'm excited for that.
Indeed, you do. And that takes 2 sessions. I guarantee it. You do need 2 sessions to do the Mastermind threat, not just one. We cannot squish it into one. So,
Cool.
whoever wants to go next.
And I was gushing before, so let's go. Anyone who is a fan of Mildred and Eligos ate well tonight. You guys did amazing. It was, I know we were joking around about like it just being text at this point, but it's nice that it was a back and forth as opposed to just like Eligos does something and there is a longing look from Mildred, and there was a ping pong or a tennis. It was like back and forth. You played off of each other very well. There's the history from like before when I joined, and like now I can just tell that you both are building on it really well. It was good to just be muscle bros with Smoke, just facing off against the Duke of Blood, which Mads, as I believe Chris said, really awesome name. Or I don't know, it might have been Jack.
Jack said that, I think.
Yeah, it's a metal name. But just Smoke and Atticus were like, okay, we get that you're trying to sell us on this place. Neither of us want to be here, and just like tell us what you want. And I think Jack was right. Like the soft part of Smoke was unexpected and pleasant, and I appreciate the vulnerability. It was good to be able to play into that, especially as Padre Atticus, as somebody said. Yeah. Stars. Did I give everyone stars? Right. Mads, you did very well. You asked us for like the smell and thing we wanted most, which I imagine was like 2 sentences from each person, and you turned it into this whole session. So thank you. It was good. Unexpected. Even though I gave you like basic prompts, I still did not know what to expect. Wish. Let's fight something. Let's hit something really hard with everything that we got.
Solve a problem with violence.
Yes!
We've got a whole code to take down.
Enough feelings. violence
sick of
now.
feelings. I want to beat up some witches. Beat up some nuns, rather.
Who needs feelings anyway? We have knives and guns and other things that you can.
You
use
know
to
what?
hurt
I was gonna
people.
put my new stat point into presence. No, I'm maxing out vitality right now. we're gonna punch something.
Oh my god. I'll go. Oh my god, I love the Eligos Mildred. Eligos question mark Mildred. Uh, question mark. Because yeah, I absolutely loved the way Chris played Eligos, and the fairness today. It really like came through. I mean, not that it doesn't come through normally, but like I loved the semi-confused Fae, and I love the voice and all of that. Just oh my god. The Duke of Blood is awesome. I love her. Uh, as a like Smoke hates her, but I love her as a person. Uh, I haven't watched Matt's original sort of series or whatever, but like she felt like a fairly complete person. Like I didn't need that either, and it was great to just have her. I don't know, like I loved her little this thing of like the whole conversation about control she had with Mildred and uh, Puck. But yeah, I wasn't sure what to call it. Puck. But yeah. Um, and yeah, I absolutely love the world you built for us based off of like the little we gave you. Like, oh my god, that was yeah. That was amazing, and I really do love all sort of emotional scenes with Mildred and anyone, and also Eligos and anyone. Atticus doesn't get that many emotional scenes, but I absolutely loved the dude bro confession scene that we had at the very beginning. I'm not sure how else to describe it except like this one person. And yeah, I loved that you went in and you tried your best to be a good reverend for all of like 10 minutes. and and I absolutely yeah, it was great. I enjoy being able to play the sort of more like nobility quote unquote Smoke, and also the little more delicate with stuff Smoke, because it feels a little bit at least like they go hand in hand. So it's nice to be able to do that sometimes. Um, I mean, yeah, I wish to solve problems with violence. I also think the only other wish I'd had is like I wish that if we had at some point taken on the Duke of Blood like in a semi-physical way, I probably would have like bust out my custom move, but that's fine. The Mastermind can deal with that. So yeah, that's okay. But yeah, no, I had like this is probably my favorite session so far, I think.
All right, I guess that leaves me. First of all, for Mads, thank you for enabling my bullshit to a degree not yet seen by mortal eyes. And also, I loved how this session played out, and that everybody got a little monologue, like the Duke of Blood monologue. Sir Atticus had that phenomenal like, you are like the sum of yourself. Talk to Smoke. We just saw so much. Like I had no idea any of that was part of Smoke's character, but you made it feel so natural. It's clear you've been running with that in your head this whole time, and I'm glad I finally got to see it. And of course, as always, my beloved girl boss, Mildred Bloom, who I have still not said anything conclusive to out loud. I tried to this session. I wanted to. Stuff just kept happening. Yeah, those are all my stars.
Wishes?
Oh, I mean, I'm just excited to see where this goes. I have a couple of things I wish I did in the Fragrant Void, namely tell Mildred I love her, and also punch the Queen of Blood in the face. Maybe in that order, maybe not. But I think it's actually fine that both of those things didn't happen.
There might be, well, again,
Hmm.
we hit the finale for the Mastermind threat in 2 sessions. So take your opportunities where you will. And, just for I agree with every single star. Bye. See you next time, whenever that is. We'll figure it out. So, again, every star that was mentioned, I agree. So much so. I knew this was going to be something that was going to be a little bit more emotional rather than beat them up, fire them up, that kind of thing. But
And yet somehow this is the session where I finally got to deck somebody
yeah, I know this is
after
so
this
weird.
entire campaign.
So great.
I'm
so
so
great.
happy.
Feature-length film for confession. Love it. Oh,
I'm still salty that fake Eligos had a knife and I didn't. That is my other saltiness.
was
He got a
chopping
knife. I did
things in
not.
the kitchen, okay?
He had a knife. It was stabby.
I still stand by honesty being Eligos with the good face, given that the other one had no face.
Yeah. Serious.
I mean,
Even as old
some
and
face
shriveled
is
as he
better than no
was.
face.
And a star for all of you for the possible pain that I caused your characters, that you ran with it still. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have used any safety tools, like if you really wanted to, but it's like, you gave so much, and I'm hoping you got a lot back as well. So, again, stars for everybody's role play today. We saw sides of the different characters that I don't think people suspected or maybe didn't catch. And now you had the opportunity to really bring them out when you could. And again, I love all of you for the way you play and for how the characters have just grown. And this is why I want to save you for the Mastermind threat. And then wishes would be for to see how you solve Titania coming out with her big scheme. And it's going to be an interesting one, I will say. So I can only hope we're ready. I get 2 masks in the beginning of the session, and then you will have the opportunity to do any kind of last minute vulnerable moves to get ready for going to Titania's Manor.
Yeah, let's clear out these conditions, please.
Oh, you will. Yeah, you'll have the
opportunity.
opportunity to do so, which is another reason why it's
Are
going
we
to take 2
meeting next
sessions.
week?
That's a good question. We're going to have to take this offline to make sure that, everybody that can be there will be there. I'm not doing the Mastermind threat without everyone present. I will say that as you find yourselves back from the Fragrant Void in the Olympus room of the Society Obscura, drenched in blood, pretty much laying in a pool of blood, safely though, with Penelope Levy unconscious, I think we can speed out above London and outside of London, back to a brambled, tangled thicket leading to an abandoned manor. All the lights are on in this place. And it looks like things are being cleared out by some of Lord Oda's worshippers. The broken statuary is being cleared. Some of the brambles and wilderness is being matted down or cleared for people to come. And Titania is out in front of the double doors of this mansion, breathing a sigh of satisfaction. We will get our little revenge. And we will be able to go home. And that is where we end tonight's session.